What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another vid. They just came out with the March Madness bracket for 2021, so I thought I'd share my first reaction and first picks here. It's definitely just my first bracket that I'm making, so I'm not too sure if things could change or not. But let's get right into it. So looking at the first game, we got Gonzaga, the 1 seed against Norfolk State or Appalachian State. They don't even have an analysis yet, but I definitely go with Gonzaga there. And then we got Oklahoma versus Missouri, another good matchup. I do like Oklahoma in that one. Should be a good game, but I'll take Oklahoma. Then we got Creighton versus UCSB. I think I'm going to take Creighton in that one. That's not one of the 5-12 upsets that I like. I think Creighton can actually win that one. And then I'll take Virginia. They're having COVID problems right now, but assuming that they do get into the tournament, I'll definitely take them. Then we got USC versus Wichita State or Drake. That's a first 4 game. I think Wichita State will beat Drake, but USC versus Wichita State, I could go either way. Not too high on either team, really. I think that for that one, should I go with USC or Wichita State? I'm thinking USC for now. I haven't seen too much from them. They got a 6 seed. Wichita State, they're a pretty good team, but playing in a lower conference. And then we got Kansas. I'll definitely go with Kansas over Eastern. Eastern Washington. But assuming Kansas gets in, they're a tough team. Then we got Oregon versus at VCU. This is a game where I definitely think VCU can win. Not gonna lie to you. Oregon, they were like the number 1 team in the Pac-12, but that was a really weak conference this year. So I think I'll go with the upset for VCU. And then we got Iowa versus Grand Canyon, and I'll obviously take Iowa. Luka Garza and those guys. They're tough to beat. So let's keep going down. Then we got Michigan against a 16 matchup between Texas Southern or Mountain State. I'll take Michigan. I'll be honest, if there's any 1 seed that I think is not going to make a far run, it's Michigan. I feel like they're the most uneasy team going into this tournament, with the loss of Livers and those guys. So it wouldn't surprise me to see them go out early, even though they're still a tough team. And then this was probably one of the most surprising seedings I saw, which was LSU as an 8 seed. They just lost to Alabama today by 1 point. It's a really good game. And St. Bonaventure is another good team. But I'm going to take LSU because I really like how LSU plays. I think they can actually make a run. And then we got Colorado, a 5 seed versus Georgetown. This is a 5-12 matchup that I could see Georgetown winning, no doubt. I really like Georgetown. They just ran through the entire Big East, and I think that they're red hot right now. So I'm definitely rooting for Georgetown to make a run. And then we got Florida State versus UNCG. And I feel like FSU, they've been kind of teetering off. They haven't looked too good the last couple games. And I really want them to succeed, They were one of my early picks preseason to win the national championship. I'll definitely still go with Florida State for now, the 4 seed. And then we got BYU against Michigan State or UCLA. This is a very interesting game. I could see an upset here, not gonna lie. No matter who wins the Michigan State UCLA game. And BYU's a good team. They had the lead against Gonzaga. They could have won that championship game. But I'm gonna go with the upset, 11 versus 6. And whether that's Michigan State or UCLA, I could still see an upset happen. Then we got Texas, Big 12 champs, against ACU. And I still think Texas win that one. And then we got UConn versus Maryland. Those are 2 good teams. I kind of want to pick Maryland, not going to lie. I haven't heard too much from UConn. I know they were the 3 seed in the Big East tournament this year, and they had a good run. Their record's not too great, but I trust the Big Ten. I saw Maryland play in the Big East in the Big Ten tournament, and they put up good fights against Michigan State, beat them, and then they almost beat Michigan. That was a good game. So I'll go with Maryland there, and then we got Bama versus Iona. I'll take Alabama now. They're a really good team. They're legit. So yeah, that's that side. We got the West and the East. Now we move over to the South. We got Baylor versus Hartford. I'll definitely take Baylor. We got North Carolina versus Wisconsin. That's my team, Wisconsin. I think they're two good teams, not the best records, playing in really tough conferences. But I like Wisconsin in that one. And then we got Villanova versus Winthrop. Now this is another potential 5 versus 12 upset. Haven't heard too much from Winthrop. But we all know Villanova, they lost one of their studs in Gillespie. So I'll go with Winthrop. I was trying to pick two 12 over 5 upsets. So that's probably one of the better ones I could pick. And then we got Purdue versus North Texas. The Mean Green. I still like Purdue now. I think Purdue's a really good team. And then we got Texas Tech versus Utah State. I think that Tech will win that one. Nothing against Utah State, where they were one of the bubble teams. But I still think that Texas Tech is good enough to win that game. And then we got 3 seed Arkansas against 14 seed Colgate. This should be a really good game, a shootout. Arkansas is a really good team. They just lost to LSU, but before that they were red hot. So I'll take Arkansas. Then we got Florida versus VTech. Not gonna lie, I kind of like VTech in that one. I'm not too high on Florida right now. I think Virginia Tech's pretty good. I think they can win that game. Then we got OSU against ORU. I'm not sure what team that is. I wish they'd give me like the analysis so I could see. But I do like Ohio State. I think they can make a deep run this year. They nearly beat Illinois in that Big Ten championship game. But I do like OSU to win that one. Then we got Illinois versus Drexel. I'll take the Illini all day. Big Ten champs. They look legit, definitely. Then we got Loyola Chicago against Georgia Tech. That is a good game. Georgia Tech, they look really good, and they just beat up Florida State last night. It was a good game. And Loyola Chicago is another good team. And I think I'm going to go with Georgia Tech. I like what I've seen from them. We got Tennessee versus Oregon State. Another tough matchup. The Volunteers against Oregon State. I kind of want to take Tennessee in that one. I still think they're a good team. We got Oklahoma State versus Liberty. I was surprised to see Oklahoma State get a 4 seed. I thought they were going to get like a 3 or even a 2. Probably not, but a 3 at least. But I'll definitely take Cade Cunningham and Oklahoma State in that one. Then we got San Diego State against Syracuse. That's another good game. I can see that one going either way. I think I chose one other 11 over 6. So I'm feeling like I should take Syracuse. I feel like Syracuse is the move here. But I know San Diego State's tough. Maybe I'll stick with San Diego State. I don't know. And then we got West Virginia versus Moorhead. This is probably the most surprising seed for me in terms of a team that I thought should have been lower. I did not expect to see Oklahoma State get a 4 and then West Virginia get a 3. But that's what happened. And I'll still take West Virginia. Then we got Clemson versus Rutgers. Another good game. Not too, I don't feel too good about Clemson. I do like Rutgers. I saw them play in the Big Ten tournament. They looked pretty good. Geo Baker. So I think I'll take Rutgers. They haven't been in the tournament forever, and I think they might pull up, get a win. And then I'll take Houston over Cleveland State. Houston's really good. Alright, so now looking at our second round, we got Gonzaga versus Oklahoma. I'll still take the Zags to get past Oklahoma. Creighton versus UVA. That's a tough game. I think that I'll take Virginia. Then we got USC versus Kansas. Another tough game. I think I'll give that one to Kansas. Right now I'm picking the higher seeds, but that's just this bracket. And then I'll give it to Iowa over VCU. Going down, we got LSU versus Michigan. This is one of the big upsets I think is going to happen. If it's going to happen to any one seed, I think it could be this game right here. I'll take LSU over Michigan. And then Georgetown versus Florida State. That's a tough game. I really want to pick Georgetown. I really do. But I still think that Florida State is good enough to get past them and into the Sweet 16. And then we got Michigan State or UCLA against Texas, and I'll still take Texas in that one. And you got Maryland versus Alabama, and I'll take Alabama. Going across here to Rutgers, Houston. I'll take Houston to advance. And San Diego State versus West Virginia. I think I'll take San Diego State now, just because I'm not a fan of West Virginia in terms of, like, I don't have a lot of confidence in them. So I'll take San Diego State now. Then we got Oklahoma State versus Tennessee. I'll take OK State. And then we got the Illini against Georgia Tech, and I'll take the Illini to advance to the Sweet 16. Coming up to the south here, looking at Baylor, Wisconsin. Wisconsin plays teams tough. It's always a tough game. But I think I'm going to go with Baylor in that one, as much as I want to pick Wisconsin. It's my team. But I'll pick Baylor. And then we got Purdue, Winthrop. I'll take Purdue. And then we got Texas Tech, Arkansas. I think I'm going to go with Ark in that one. And we got Ohio State over Virginia Tech. So that's leaving us with a lot of tough matchups here. Gonzaga versus Virginia, another tough matchup. I think I'll go with the Zags. They're that good, definitely. Then who will meet the Zags, Iowa or Kansas? I know Iowa got a 2 seed, but I just don't think Iowa's good enough to beat Kansas. I really don't. I think Kansas, they really came on late to end the season. And I think I'm more confident in taking Kansas over Iowa. Come down here, we got 8 seed LSU against 4 seed FSU. I think Michigan losing might open the door for Florida State to get their act together and maybe get to the Elite 8. So I'll take Florida State. And then we got Texas versus Bama. This is a really good game. If this ended up happening, that is a really good game. I think, in this case, I think I take Bama to barely beat Texas. I really like Texas. But I think I'll take Alabama there. Then looking at the Midwest, the Illini versus Oklahoma State. That would be a really good game. That's a tough one to pick too. I mean, that's like crazy. So I'll skip that. That's so hard that I have to skip it right now. I'll go to San Diego State versus Houston, where I do think Houston is good enough to get to the Elite 8, definitely. And then we've got the Illini against Oklahoma State. And I know my dad's picking Illinois to win it all this year. But I'm just not sure. Especially, this is like one of those matchups where you take one good team and put it against another good team. It's just crazy. I don't know who to take. Honestly, Illinois versus Oklahoma State. Who do you pick in that one? I think I'm going to go with Illinois. I'll go with Illinois. I think having the Florida State Bama game, another 4 versus 2, and maybe pick a 1 versus 2, just so I didn't have two matchups. And then coming up top here, I think Baylor. I'll take Baylor to advance. And I'll take Arkansas versus Ohio State, another tough matchup to pick. That's a really tough game to pick. I kind of want to go with OSU. Or do I go with Ark? Those are two really good teams. I think I'll go with Ohio State in that one. Just for now, I love both those teams. I think they can both go really far. But then, for spots in the Final Four, we've got Gonzaga versus Kansas, and I think Gonzaga's going to get there. I think they're too good not to get there right now, the way they're playing. We got Florida State versus Bama. That is a tough game. And I think that I'll go with Florida State to beat Bama. I don't know if just because I picked Florida State preseason, maybe it's bias, I don't know. But I'll take Florida State in that one. Then we got the Illini versus Houston, another tough matchup. But I think the Illini, in my opinion, if the Illini got over the hump, if they had to play Oklahoma State, I think that would be the tougher game than playing Houston, even though I also like Houston. But I think that's one of those games where you got to get past Cade Cunningham and those guys. And then maybe the Houston game is not as bad. I don't know, I get that kind of feeling, you know. Then we got Baylor versus Ohio State. Ooh, that is a good game. I think that I'm going to go with Ohio State to upset Baylor. I think Ohio State's really good. And that would set up the Big Ten final rematch between Ohio State and Illinois. That would be crazy. So, looking at my Final Four here, I really like, I'm not going to lie, I like my picks. And I think that I would go with Gonzaga versus Florida State. I think that I would go with Gonzaga. And I think to meet them, I think I'm going to take, in the rematch, I think Ohio State's going to get their revenge over the Illini. So I'm taking Ohio State to win that one. And that sets up a Gonzaga versus Ohio State championship game. That's a really good game. And in that one, I know Gonzaga's the favorite, but I really like Ohio State. So I think I'm going to go with Ohio State to win it all. I think that's my final pick, Ohio State over Gonzaga in the national championship. And let's say they win, I'll give them a 73-68 win. So there you have it. Those are my picks. I got Ohio State beating Gonzaga in the finals, 73-68, and that's gonna do it. Coming out, that's just my first bracket. A lot of this is gonna change. I just wanted to make a quick vid, to address the selections that just came out. So a lot of this can change definitely. But that's gonna do it for this vid. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like and subscribe. I'll be doing some reactions to the March Madness as we keep going along. But that's going to do it for this one. Peace.